Welcome to this spiritual journey of faith, healing, and inspiration. Today we explore the life and legacy of Saint Charbel Makhlouf, a hermit monk from Lebanon, whose intercessions have led to thousands of miraculous healings worldwide. His story is one of deep devotion, extraordinary holiness, and a life dedicated entirely to God. Through his powerful prayers, many have experienced divine intervention, making him one of the most beloved saints of our time. Join us as we uncover the life, miracles, and prayers of Saint Charbel, a saint whose legacy continues to inspire countless souls. Chapter 1. The Early Life of Saint Charbel. Saint Charbel, known at birth as Youssef Antoun Makhlouf, came into the world on May 8, 1828, in the serene and picturesque village of Bekaa Kafra, nestled in the rugged mountains of Lebanon. This humble village, renowned for being the highest inhabited settlement in the entire Middle East, provided a breathtaking backdrop of natural beauty and tranquility, which seemed to mirror the spiritual purity that would come to define Youssef's life. Born into a family deeply rooted in the traditions of the Maronite Catholic faith, Youssef was surrounded from his earliest days by an atmosphere of unwavering devotion, prayer, and a profound reverence for God. His parents, along with his extended family, lived lives marked by simplicity, humility, and an unshakable commitment to their religious beliefs, values that would leave an indelible imprint on young Youssef's heart and soul. From a remarkably tender age, Youssef exhibited signs of extraordinary piety and a spiritual maturity that far exceeded his years. While other children of his age might have been occupied with play or the simple joys of childhood, Youssef was drawn to a life of contemplation and communion with God. He often sought solitude in a small, secluded grotto located near his family home, a quiet refuge where he could escape the distractions of the world and immerse himself in silent prayer and meditation. This grotto, a natural sanctuary surrounded by the beauty of creation, became a sacred space for Youssef, a place where he felt closest to the divine and where he could nurture his growing desire to dedicate his life entirely to God. The spiritual environment in which Youssef was raised played a pivotal role in shaping his character and his future path. His family's deep religious convictions were not merely a set of beliefs they professed, but a way of life they embodied daily. Through their example, Youssef learned the importance of faith, humility, and self-sacrifice. His parents and siblings, through their own devotion and piety, instilled in him a profound love for Christ and a burning desire to follow him with unwavering commitment. This early formation laid the foundation for Youssef's eventual decision to leave behind the comforts of home and family to pursue a life of monasticism, a life wholly devoted to prayer, penance, and the service of God. As Youssef grew older, his longing to give himself completely to God only intensified. The seeds of faith planted in his heart during his childhood began to blossom into a clear and resolute calling. His family's influence, combined with his own spiritual experiences, guided him toward a path of radical discipleship, one that would ultimately lead him to become one of the most revered saints in the Maronite Catholic tradition. Saint Charbel's early years in Bekaa Kafra were thus not merely the beginning of his earthly life, but the foundation of a spiritual journey that would inspire countless believers for generations to come. At the age of 23, Youssef Antoun Makhlouf, driven by an unquenchable desire to dedicate his life entirely to God, made the courageous and life-altering decision to leave behind the comfort and familiarity of his family home in Bekaa Kafra. With a heart full of faith and a spirit eager for spiritual growth, he set out on a journey that would lead him to the monastery of Our Lady in Mayfouk, a place renowned for its deep spiritual heritage and its commitment to nurturing the souls of those called to the religious life. It was here, within the ancient walls of this sacred monastery, that Youssef began his formal spiritual formation, embarking on a path that would transform him from a devout young man into a beacon of holiness and a model of monastic discipline. During his time at the monastery of Our Lady, Youssef immersed himself in the rhythms of monastic life, learning the virtues of humility, obedience, and self-denial. He studied the scriptures, delved into the rich traditions of the Maronite Catholic Church, and participated in the daily liturgical prayers and communal activities that formed the backbone of monastic life. His earnestness and sincerity quickly became evident to his superiors and fellow monks, who recognized in him a profound desire to grow closer to God and to live a life of radical discipleship. However, Youssef's spiritual journey did not end in Makhlouf. After a period of intense preparation and discernment, he felt called to deepen his commitment to God by moving to the monastery of Saint Maron in Anaya, a place that would become the center of his spiritual life and the stage for his future sanctity. It was at the monastery of Saint Maron that Youssef took the name Charbel, a name that would forever be associated with his legacy of holiness. This name was not chosen lightly. It was a deliberate and meaningful decision to honor Saint Charbel of Edessa, an ancient Christian martyr whose life exemplified the virtues of courage, faith, and unwavering devotion to Christ. Saint Charbel of Edessa, originally a pagan priest in the 2nd century, underwent a profound conversion to Christianity after witnessing the steadfast faith of early Christians, even in the face of persecution and death. His transformation from a pagan priest to a fervent Christian disciple was a testament to the power of divine grace, and his ultimate martyrdom during the reign of Emperor Trajan cemented his place as a significant figure in the annals of early Christian history. By taking the name Charbel, Youssef sought to align himself with the spirit of this holy martyr, embracing a life marked by sacrifice, dedication, and an unyielding commitment to Christ. At the monastery of Saint Maron, Charbel fully embraced the rigorous demands of monastic life, taking solemn vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. These vows were not mere formalities for him, but profound expressions of his desire to surrender himself completely to God's will. In poverty, he renounced all material possessions, choosing to live in simplicity and detachment from worldly comforts. In chastity, he offered his heart entirely to God, forsaking earthly relationships to focus solely on his divine bridegroom. In obedience, he submitted himself to the authority of his superiors and the rule of the monastery, seeing in this submission a path to greater conformity to Christ, who was obedient even unto death. Charbel's life at the monastery was characterized by an intense devotion to prayer, fasting, and silence. He spent countless hours in the chapel, kneeling before the Blessed Sacrament, lost in deep contemplation and communion with God. His prayers were not mere recitations of words, but heartfelt conversations with the divine, marked by a profound sense of reverence and love. Fasting became a regular practice for him, a way of disciplining his body and strengthening his spirit as he sought to detach himself from the pleasures of the flesh and draw closer to the spiritual realm. Silence, too, was a hallmark of his monastic life. Charbel understood the power of silence as a means of listening to the voice of God and cultivating an interior life of peace and stillness. His commitment to these practices soon set him apart as a monk of exceptional holiness, one whose life radiated the presence of God and inspired those around him to strive for greater spiritual heights. Prayer for Saint Charbel's intercession. O Saint Charbel, from your early years, you showed unwavering devotion to the Lord. Through your deep faith and love for Christ, you dedicated your life to solitude and prayer. Intercede for us, that we may walk steadfastly in faith, seeking the wisdom and humility that guided you. Strengthen our hearts, that we may embrace God's will and live a life of holiness. Amen. Chapter 2. A Life of Solitude and Miracles. For over 16 years, Charbel lived a life of profound devotion and unwavering commitment within the sacred walls of the monastery of Saint Maron in Anaya. These years were marked by a rhythm of prayer, contemplation, and humble labor, as Charbel sought to align every aspect of his existence with the will of God. Each day began and ended with the Liturgy of the Hours, the ancient prayer of the Church, which he recited with a fervor and attentiveness that inspired those around him. In between these communal prayers, Charbel dedicated countless hours to private meditation, often retreating to the monastery chapel to kneel before the Blessed Sacrament in silent adoration. His love for the Eucharist was the cornerstone of his spiritual life, and he approached the sacrament with a reverence that left a lasting impression on all who witnessed it. For Charbel, the Eucharist was not merely a symbol, but the living presence of Christ, a source of infinite grace and a wellspring of divine love that sustained him in his daily struggles and triumphs. Charbel's deep devotion to the Eucharist often manifested in extraordinary ways, leaving his fellow monks in awe of the divine favor that seemed to accompany him. On numerous occasions, they observed miraculous occurrences that defied natural explanation. Candles placed near him during prayer would burn brightly without melting, their flames flickering with an otherworldly glow. The air around him would sometimes be filled with the scent of heavenly fragrances, as though the very atmosphere were sanctified by his presence. Even more astonishing were the reports of unexplainable healings that took place in his proximity. Those who were sick or suffering would find themselves inexplicably cured after seeking his prayers or simply being near him. These miracles, though never sought by Charbel himself, served as a testament to the profound holiness that radiated from his life and the deep union he shared with God. Despite the admiration and reverence he garnered from his fellow monks, Charbel remained deeply humble, never allowing these extraordinary signs to distract him from his primary goal of growing closer to God. He saw himself not as a miracle worker, but as a humble servant, a vessel through which God's grace could flow to others. His humility was further evident in his approach to manual labor, which he undertook with the same spirit of devotion that characterized his prayer life. Whether tending to the monastery gardens, repairing its walls, or performing other mundane tasks, Charbel approached each duty as an offering to God, a way of sanctifying the ordinary and transforming it into something holy. In 1875, at the age of 47, Charbel experienced a profound spiritual calling that would alter the course of his life. After years of living in community, he felt an unmistakable divine invitation to retreat further into solitude, to leave behind the familiar rhythms of monastic life, and embrace the silence and isolation of a hermit's existence. This calling was not born out of a desire for escape or self-imposed hardship, but out of a deep longing to draw even closer to God, to strip away every distraction and focus entirely on the divine presence. After much prayer and discernment, Charbel sought and was granted permission from his superiors to live as a hermit in a small, austere hermitage located near the monastery. This decision marked the beginning of a new and profoundly transformative chapter in Charbel's spiritual journey. The hermitage, a simple structure surrounded by the rugged beauty of the Lebanese mountains, became his sanctuary, a place where he could devote himself entirely to prayer, fasting, and contemplation. Here, far from the noise and busyness of the world, Charbel entered into a deeper level of intimacy with God, spending hours each day in silent adoration and meditating on the mysteries of faith. His life as a hermit was one of radical simplicity and self-denial, a testament to his unwavering commitment to the path of holiness. Charbel's years in the hermitage were not without challenges. The physical hardships of living in such an austere environment, combined with the spiritual battles that often accompany a life of intense prayer, tested his resolve and deepened his reliance on God's grace. Yet, through it all, he remained steadfast, his faith unshaken and his love for God undiminished. His time in solitude became a living witness to the transformative power of a life wholly surrendered to God, a life that continues to inspire and guide countless souls on their own spiritual journeys. Charbel's retreat to the hermitage was not an end, but a new beginning, a step into the depths of divine love that would ultimately lead him to the heights of sanctity. In his hermitage, Saint Charbel embraced a life of complete seclusion, withdrawing from the world to dedicate himself entirely to God. This secluded dwelling, nestled in the rugged and serene landscape of the Lebanese mountains, became a sacred space where Charbel could immerse himself in uninterrupted prayer, contemplation, and communion with the divine. His daily routine was one of extreme asceticism, marked by rigorous self-discipline and a profound spirit of sacrifice. He slept on a hard, uncomfortable bed, a deliberate choice to mortify his body and keep his focus on spiritual rather than physical comforts. His meals were sparse and simple, consisting of little more than bread, water, and occasional vegetables, which he ate only once a day. This meager diet was supplemented by frequent fasting, a practice that allowed him to detach from worldly desires and draw closer to God through self-denial. Charbel's life in the hermitage was a testament to his unwavering commitment to living the gospel in its most radical form, embodying the virtues of poverty, humility, and total reliance on divine providence. Despite his physical isolation, Charbel's spiritual presence extended far beyond the walls of his hermitage. Word of his holiness spread throughout the region, and many people, drawn by his reputation as a living saint, sought his prayers and intercession. They believed that his closeness to God granted him a special grace to intercede on their behalf, and they traveled great distances to bring their petitions to him. Though Charbel rarely interacted directly with visitors, his prayers were said to have a profound impact on those who sought his help. Stories began to circulate of miraculous healings and answered prayers attributed to his intercession. The sick were cured, the despairing found hope, and the brokenhearted experienced peace, all through the power of his prayers. Even in his solitude, Charbel became a beacon of hope and a source of divine grace for countless souls who felt the weight of suffering and hardship. Saint Charbel's reputation for holiness was further amplified by the extraordinary phenomena witnessed by those who visited his hermitage. On several occasions, visitors reported seeing an ethereal light surrounding him as he prayed, particularly during the late hours of the night. This light, described as radiant and otherworldly, seemed to emanate from his very being, illuminating the darkness of his humble dwelling. Some witnesses claimed that the light was accompanied by a sense of profound peace and a tangible presence of the divine, as though heaven itself had descended into the hermitage. These occurrences were seen as signs of God's favor and a testament to the depth of Saint Charbel's spiritual union with the divine. They served as a reminder that, though physically isolated, he was never truly alone, for he lived in constant communion with God, enveloped in the light of divine love. Saint Charbel's life in the hermitage was not merely a retreat from the world, but a profound witness to the transformative power of a life wholly surrendered to God. His extreme asceticism, his unwavering devotion to prayer, and his ability to intercede for others despite his solitude all pointed to a man who had transcended the limitations of the material world to live in intimate union with the divine. His hermitage became a place of pilgrimage, not because of its physical location or grandeur, but because of the holiness of the man who dwelled within it. Saint Charbel's example continues to inspire countless souls to seek God with the same intensity and devotion, reminding us that true holiness is not found in the noise and busyness of the world, but in the quiet, hidden places where the soul meets its Creator. Through his life of seclusion, Saint Charbel became a living testament to the power of prayer, the beauty of sacrifice, and the boundless love of God that shines even in the darkest corners of the world. Prayer for Saint Charbel's intercession. Saint Charbel, you chose a life of solitude to deepen your communion with God. Help us to seek moments of silence and prayer amidst the noise of our world. May we draw strength from your example and trust in God's divine providence, surrendering our struggles and fears into His hands. Intercede for us that we may grow in holiness and faith. Amen. Chapter 3. The Path to Sainthood. The journey towards sainthood for Saint Charbel was a testament to the profound impact of his life of holiness and the countless miracles attributed to his intercession. This sacred process began formally on April 4th, 1929, when the Church officially opened his cause for beatification, granting him the title of Servant of God. This initial step marked the beginning of a meticulous investigation into Saint Charbel's life, virtues, and the extraordinary events associated with him. Church authorities carefully examined his writings, his spiritual practices, and the testimonies of those who knew him, seeking to determine whether he had lived a life of heroic virtue worthy of recognition by the Church. The title Servant of God was not merely an honorific, but a declaration that Saint Charbel's life was being seriously considered as a model of Christian sanctity, one that could inspire the faithful for generations to come. As the investigation progressed, it became increasingly clear that Saint Charbel's life was marked by an extraordinary depth of piety, humility, and devotion to God. His years of monastic discipline, his radical embrace of poverty and solitude, and his unwavering commitment to prayer and fasting all pointed to a man who had truly lived the gospel in its fullest sense. Moreover, the numerous miracles attributed to his intercession, both during his lifetime and after his death, provided compelling evidence of his sanctity. These miracles, which included inexplicable healings of physical ailments and other supernatural occurrences, were thoroughly examined and authenticated by medical experts and theologians, further solidifying the case for his beatification. On December 5, 1965, in a moment of great solemnity and joy, Saint Charbel was beatified by Pope Paul VI in a ceremony held at St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City. This beatification, which granted him the title of Blessed, was a significant milestone in his journey towards sainthood. It affirmed that Saint Charbel had lived a life of heroic virtue and that his intercession before God had the power to bring about miraculous healings and graces. The beatification ceremony was attended by thousands of faithful from around the world, including many from Lebanon, who had long revered Charbel as a saint. Pope Paul VI, in his homily, praised Saint Charbel as a model of holiness and a shining example of the transformative power of a life dedicated to God. Following his beatification, the reports of miraculous healings attributed to Saint Charbel's intercession continued to multiply, further confirming his sanctity. These miracles, which were rigorously investigated and verified by the Church, played a crucial role in the final step of his journey towards sainthood. On October 9, 1977, in another grand ceremony at St. Peter's Basilica, Pope Paul VI canonized Saint Charbel, declaring him a saint of the Catholic Church. This canonization was the culmination of decades of prayer, investigation, and devotion, and it formally recognized Charbel as a saint whose life and intercession could inspire and guide the faithful worldwide. The canonization of Saint Charbel was not only a moment of celebration for the Church, but also a profound affirmation of the universal call to holiness. His life, marked by humility, prayer, and self-sacrifice, serves as a powerful reminder that sanctity is attainable for all who seek to follow Christ with sincerity and devotion. The miracles attributed to his intercession continue to inspire hope and faith, demonstrating that God's grace is alive and active in the world through the lives of his saints. Saint Charbel's canonization has solidified his place as one of the most beloved and revered saints in the Maronite Catholic tradition, and beyond, a beacon of light for all who seek to walk the path of holiness. His legacy endures as a testament to the transformative power of a life lived in total surrender to God's will, a life that continues to bear fruit in the hearts of the faithful across the globe. Let us now pray for the intercession of Saint Charbel. O Saint Charbel, your life of unwavering faith and devotion led to your glorious sainthood. Inspire us to walk in holiness, embracing our daily crosses with patience and trust in God. Intercede for us, that we may grow in virtue and humility, following your path of selfless love and service to the Lord. May our faith be strengthened through your prayers. Amen. Chapter 4. Death and Relics. After his passing on December 24, 1898, Saint Charbel was laid to rest in the cemetery of the monastery of Saint Maronite in Anaya, Lebanon. His death marked the end of a life of extraordinary holiness, but it was only the beginning of a legacy that would captivate the hearts and minds of countless believers. Shortly after his burial, reports began to circulate of a supernatural light emanating from his tomb, a phenomenon that drew the attention of both the monks of the monastery and the local villagers. This mysterious light, described as radiant and otherworldly, seemed to defy natural explanation, and was interpreted by many as a sign of Saint Charbel's sanctity and his continued presence among the faithful. The light became a source of wonder and devotion, drawing pilgrims to his tomb in search of spiritual solace and divine intervention. In 1927, nearly 3 decades after his death, the Maronite Patriarchate ordered the exhumation of Saint Charbel's body in response to the growing reports of miraculous occurrences and the persistent accounts of the supernatural light. What they discovered left them astounded. Despite the passage of time, Saint Charbel's body was found to be remarkably intact, showing no signs of decomposition. This state of incorruptibility, a rare phenomenon in the Catholic tradition, was seen as a powerful sign of divine favor and a testament to the holiness of his life. Even more astonishing was the discovery that his body exuded a miraculous fluid, described as a mixture of blood and sweat, which continued to flow from his remains for decades. This fluid, which was carefully collected and preserved, became a sacred relic, venerated by the faithful as a tangible sign of Saint Charbel's intercessory power and his closeness to God. The discovery of Saint Charbel's incorrupt body and the miraculous fluid it exuded had a profound impact on both the clergy and the medical experts who examined it. The phenomenon defied scientific explanation and was seen as a divine confirmation of Saint Charbel's sanctity. His body was placed on display for public veneration, allowing pilgrims from near and far to witness the miraculous state of his remains and to seek his intercession in their own lives. For many, the sight of his incorrupt body and the presence of the miraculous fluid were powerful reminders of the reality of God's grace and the transformative power of a life lived in total devotion to him. As the years passed, Saint Charbel's body eventually began to show natural signs of decay, a process that did not diminish the reverence with which he was regarded. His remains were carefully placed in a new tomb within the monastery of Saint Maron, where they continue to rest to this day. This tomb has become a place of pilgrimage for countless believers from around the world, who travel to Anaya to seek Saint Charbel's blessings and to offer their prayers. The monastery, once a quiet retreat for monks, has been transformed into a vibrant center of devotion, where the faithful gather to honor the memory of Saint Charbel and to seek his intercession in their times of need. The legacy of Saint Charbel extends far beyond the walls of the monastery, as countless reports of miraculous healings and answered prayers continue to emerge from those who invoke his name. Pilgrims who visit his tomb often share stories of physical healings, emotional restoration, and spiritual renewal, attributing these graces to Saint Charbel's powerful intercession. These miracles, both great and small, serve as a testament to the enduring impact of his life and the profound connection he shares with God. They also reinforce his status as one of the most venerated saints of the modern era, a figure whose holiness transcends time and place to touch the lives of people from all walks of life. Saint Charbel's incorrupt body, the miraculous fluid, and the countless healings attributed to his intercession are not merely historical curiosities, but living signs of the power of faith and the reality of God's presence in the world. His life, marked by humility, prayer, and self-sacrifice, continues to inspire believers to seek holiness in their own lives, while his intercession offers hope and healing to those who turn to him in prayer. Through his enduring legacy, Saint Charbel remains a beacon of light, guiding the faithful toward a deeper relationship with God and a greater understanding of the transformative power of divine grace. Today, the relics of Saint Charbel are cherished and venerated in churches and monasteries across the globe, serving as tangible connections to his holy life and enduring spiritual legacy. These relics, which include fragments of his clothing, personal belongings, and even the miraculous fluid that once exuded from his incorrupt body, are distributed far and wide, allowing the faithful from diverse cultures and nations to experience the profound blessings associated with his intercession. Whether enshrined in grand cathedrals, humble parish churches, or remote monastic chapels, these sacred objects are treated with deep reverence and are often the focal points of prayer and pilgrimage for those seeking spiritual solace and divine intervention. In Lebanon, the homeland of Saint Charbel, his relics hold a place of special honor, particularly at the monastery of Saint Maron in Anaya, where his tomb remains a major pilgrimage site. Thousands of devotees, both local and international, flock to this sacred place each year, drawn by the stories of miraculous healings and the palpable sense of peace that permeates the monastery grounds. The relics serve as a bridge between the earthly and the divine, offering the faithful a tangible reminder of Saint Charbel's holiness and his unwavering commitment to God. For many Lebanese Christians, Saint Charbel is not only a spiritual intercessor, but also a national symbol of faith, resilience, and hope, especially in times of hardship and uncertainty. Beyond Lebanon, Saint Charbel's relics have found homes in churches and monasteries across the United States, Europe, and other parts of the world. In the United States, for example, Maronite Catholic parishes and other Christian communities proudly display his relics, often organizing special liturgies, novenas, and prayer services in his honor. These gatherings attract believers from various backgrounds, united by their devotion to Saint Charbel and their trust in his intercessory power. Similarly, in Europe, his relics are venerated in countries such as France, Italy, and Spain, where they are often brought out for public veneration during feast days and other significant religious events. The widespread presence of his relics is a testament to the universal appeal of his sanctity and the profound impact of his spiritual legacy. Many faithful believers hold a deep conviction that the presence of Saint Charbel's relics continues to radiate divine blessings and healing grace. Stories abound of individuals who have experienced physical, emotional, and spiritual healings after praying before his relics or touching them with faith. These accounts, often shared within communities and passed down through generations, reinforce the belief that Saint Charbel remains an active and compassionate intercessor in the lives of those who call upon him. Whether through the healing of illnesses, the resolution of personal struggles, or the deepening of one's faith, the miracles attributed to his relics serve as powerful reminders of God's boundless love and mercy. Saint Charbel's intercessory power is not confined to any one place or people. It transcends geographical and cultural boundaries, offering hope and faith to countless believers around the world. His relics, scattered across the globe, act as conduits of his spiritual presence, inviting the faithful to draw closer to God through his example and prayers. In a world often marked by division and despair, the universal devotion to Saint Charbel stands as a testament to the unifying power of faith and the enduring hope that springs from a life lived in total surrender to God's will. Through his relics and the countless miracles associated with them, Saint Charbel continues to inspire, heal, and guide, reminding us that the light of holiness shines brightly, even in the darkest of times. Let us now pray for the intercession of Saint Charbel. Saint Charbel, even in death, the Lord chose to glorify you through miraculous signs and wonders. Your incorrupt body became a testimony of his divine power. Help us to remain faithful to God in life and in death. May your intercession bring healing and peace to all who seek your aid. Pray for us, that we may remain steadfast in faith and trust in God's eternal promise. Amen. Chapter 5. Miracles. Saint Charbel Makhlouf is renowned for the numerous miracles attributed to his intercession, both during his life and posthumously. He was a humble Maronite monk and priest from Lebanon, living a life of deep prayer, penance, and solitude in the hermitage of Anaya. Even during his lifetime, many people sought his prayers, believing in his extraordinary connection with God. After his death in 1898, countless miraculous events and healings were reported by those who invoked his name in faith. The Catholic Church thoroughly investigated several of these miracles during the rigorous process leading up to his canonization, confirming the divine intervention through his intercession. One of the most notable miracles recognized by the Church involves Sister Mary Abel Kamari of the Sacred Hearts. Sister Kamari, a devout religious woman, suffered from a severe and debilitating illness that medical treatments had failed to cure. In her desperation, she turned to prayer, seeking the intercession of Saint Charbel, who had already gained a reputation as a miracle worker. Through fervent supplication and faith, she experienced an inexplicable and sudden healing, which left doctors and medical experts baffled. Her complete and rapid recovery defied scientific explanation, reinforcing the belief in Saint Charbel's powerful intercession. This extraordinary event was carefully examined by church authorities, who sought medical documentation and testimonies to verify the authenticity of the healing. After thorough investigation and consultation with experts, the Church deemed Sister Kamari's healing to be a true miracle, one that could only be attributed to divine intervention. This miracle played a crucial role in the beatification process of Saint Charbel, serving as one of the key supernatural occurrences that validated his sanctity. Sister Kamari's case is just one among thousands of miracles attributed to Saint Charbel. His legacy continues to inspire faith and devotion worldwide, with pilgrims flocking to his tomb in Anaya, Lebanon, to seek healing, blessings, and spiritual renewal. Many believers report miraculous recoveries from illnesses, answered prayers, and profound spiritual experiences after praying for his intercession. The continuing stream of miracles associated with Saint Charbel reaffirms his powerful role as a heavenly intercessor and a beacon of divine grace. Iskandar Naim Obeid from Baghdad was a man who suffered from a severe and debilitating eye condition that ultimately left him completely blind. His life was drastically altered by this affliction, as he was no longer able to see, work, or carry out daily activities without assistance. Despite seeking medical attention from the best doctors available at the time, there was no cure or treatment that could restore his vision. The medical community had exhausted all possible solutions, leaving Iskandar with no hope of ever regaining his sight. Faced with this dire reality, Iskandar turned to his faith, placing all his trust in divine intervention. A devout believer, he had heard of the numerous miracles attributed to Saint Charbel, the Maronite monk known for his holiness and extraordinary intercessions. With unwavering faith, Iskandar began to fervently pray to Saint Charbel, asking for his help and miraculous healing. He visited the saint's tomb in Anaya, Lebanon, where thousands of pilgrims come seeking healing, spiritual renewal, and divine grace. One day, in what can only be described as a miraculous event, Iskandar experienced an inexplicable restoration of his sight. His vision, which had been completely lost, returned in a sudden and extraordinary manner. The blindness that had once consumed his life vanished, allowing him to see clearly once again. This incredible healing left both Iskandar and those around him in awe. His family, friends, and members of his community witnessed this transformation, recognizing that it was not an ordinary recovery, but a divine intervention granted through the intercession of Saint Charbel. News of this miracle quickly spread, reaching church authorities who decided to investigate the case thoroughly. A meticulous examination was conducted, involving medical professionals, theologians, and church officials to ensure that the healing had no scientific explanation. After reviewing all the evidence, including medical records that confirmed his previous blindness, the church officially acknowledged Iskandar's healing as a genuine miracle, one that could only be attributed to the power of Saint Charbel's intercession. This miraculous event played a significant role in solidifying Saint Charbel's reputation as a powerful intercessor before God. To this day, the story of Iskandar Naim Obeid continues to inspire countless believers who turn to Saint Charbel for help in times of illness, suffering, and despair. His healing stands as a testament to the enduring power of faith, reinforcing the belief that God's grace, working through the saints, can bring about miraculous transformations beyond human understanding. Rached Salim Zurab from Alma El Chab was a man who suffered from a debilitating illness that severely impacted his quality of life. His condition, which had progressively worsened over time, left him in constant pain and physical distress, rendering him unable to carry out his daily activities as he once had. Despite seeking medical treatment from numerous doctors and specialists, his health continued to decline, and no effective cure or relief could be found. The medical community had exhausted all available treatments, leaving Rached with no hope of recovery. Faced with despair and with nowhere else to turn, Rached placed his trust in divine intervention. As a man of faith, he had heard of the miraculous healings attributed to Saint Charbel, the Lebanese Maronite monk and priest known for his holiness and powerful intercessions. Deeply moved by the countless testimonies of others who had experienced divine healing through the saint's prayers, Rached decided to seek Saint Charbel's help with unwavering faith. He began praying fervently, asking for the saint's intercession, and even made a pilgrimage to Saint Charbel's tomb in Anaya, Lebanon, where thousands of believers have experienced miracles of healing and spiritual renewal. One day, in what can only be described as an extraordinary moment of grace, Rached experienced a sudden and complete healing. The illness that had once left him weak and suffering vanished, and he regained his strength, mobility, and well-being. His miraculous recovery defied all medical explanations, shocking those who had witnessed his struggle. Friends, family, and members of his community rejoiced at the incredible transformation, recognizing it as a divine intervention rather than a natural occurrence. The news of Rached's healing quickly spread, catching the attention of church authorities, who began a formal investigation into the case. The church follows strict criteria when evaluating miraculous healings, ensuring that they cannot be explained by science or medicine. After careful examination, including medical reviews and testimonies from witnesses, the church officially recognized Rached Salim Zurab's healing as a true miracle, further strengthening the evidence required for Saint Charbel's canonization. This miracle, along with numerous others, played a crucial role in affirming Saint Charbel's sanctity and his continued intercessory power. To this day, Rached's story serves as a powerful testament to the miracles that faith can bring. It inspires countless believers around the world to turn to Saint Charbel in times of sickness, suffering, and hardship, trusting in his divine intercession for healing and grace. His case remains one of many that reinforce Saint Charbel's legacy as a miraculous healer and a powerful saint in the Catholic Church. Mariam Awad from Hamana was a woman who endured a severe and chronic illness that left her in a state of great suffering. Her condition, which had persisted for years, greatly diminished her quality of life, preventing her from carrying out even the simplest of daily tasks. Despite seeking medical treatment from renowned doctors and undergoing various procedures, no cure or relief could be found. Her health continued to deteriorate, leaving her and her loved ones in a state of despair. The medical experts who examined her case ultimately declared that there was no hope for recovery, as her condition was beyond the reach of scientific and medical intervention. As a devout believer, Miriam turned to her faith in search of hope and healing. She had heard of the countless miracles attributed to Saint Charbel, the Lebanese Maronite monk and priest known for his deep spiritual devotion, miraculous intercessions, and extraordinary connection with God. Inspired by the testimonies of others who had received divine healing through Saint Charbel's prayers, she began to pray fervently, seeking his intercession with unwavering faith. With every prayer, she placed her suffering in the hands of God, trusting that Saint Charbel would help her obtain the healing she so desperately needed. One fateful day, Miriam experienced what can only be described as a miraculous and sudden cure. The illness that had once confined her to a life of pain and suffering vanished completely, and she regained her health and strength. Her healing was immediate and complete, defying all medical explanations. The doctors who had previously treated her were astonished by her recovery, as there was no scientific reasoning to account for the sudden disappearance of her illness. Friends, family, and members of her community rejoiced at this extraordinary event, recognizing it as a true miracle and a sign of Saint Charbel's powerful intercession. The news of Miriam's miraculous healing quickly reached church authorities, who began a thorough investigation into her case. The Catholic Church follows strict and meticulous protocols when verifying miracles, requiring medical examinations, expert testimonies, and witness statements to rule out any natural explanation. After an in-depth review of all the evidence, the Church officially recognized Miriam Awad's healing as a genuine miracle, attributing it to the intercession of Saint Charbel. This recognition played a significant role in strengthening the case for his canonization, further proving his sanctity and divine favor. Miriam's incredible story continues to serve as an inspiration for countless believers worldwide. Her healing is one of the many miracles that solidified Saint Charbel's legacy as a powerful intercessor and a miraculous healer. To this day, thousands of faithful pilgrims visit Saint Charbel's tomb in Anaya, Lebanon, seeking his help in times of illness, suffering, and despair. Her testimony stands as a powerful reminder of the boundless grace of God, the power of prayer, and the extraordinary miracles that can occur through the intercession of the saints. Beyond the officially recognized miracles, countless other extraordinary healings and divine interventions have been reported by individuals worldwide, further solidifying Saint Charbel's reputation as a powerful intercessor. One of the most renowned and widely documented cases is that of Nohad El-Shami, a 55-year-old woman who experienced a miraculous healing in 1993. Her story has captivated the faith of thousands, serving as a modern testament to the power of Saint Charbel's intercession. Nohad El-Shami had suffered a devastating stroke that left one side of her body completely paralyzed. Despite medical treatments and therapies, her condition showed no signs of improvement, and doctors offered little hope for her recovery. She struggled with immense physical pain and the emotional toll of losing her mobility, making daily life extremely difficult. As a devout Maronite Catholic, she turned to prayer, placing her trust in God and invoking the intercession of Saint Charbel, who was widely known for miraculous healings. On the night of January 22, 1993, Nohad had an extraordinary vision in her sleep. She recounted that in her dream, two Maronite monks appeared by her bedside. One of them placed his hands on her neck and performed what seemed to be a surgical procedure, while the other monk stood beside him, offering support. She felt an intense sensation during this mysterious operation, yet there was no pain or fear, only a profound sense of peace. When she awoke, she was astounded to discover two visible wounds on her neck, as if an actual surgery had taken place. Even more astonishingly, she realized that she had regained full mobility, and her paralysis was completely gone. She could walk and move her body without any restrictions, a feat deemed impossible just hours before. The following night, she had another vision. This time, Saint Charbel himself appeared to her and gave her a clear instruction. She was to visit his hermitage on the 22nd of each month and attend Mass regularly as an act of faith and gratitude. Deeply moved by this divine encounter, she followed his instructions and made a pilgrimage to Saint Charbel's hermitage in Anaya, Lebanon, where she shared her miraculous story. Word of Nohad El-Shami's healing spread rapidly, attracting pilgrims and believers from all over Lebanon and beyond. Her story was rigorously investigated, and church authorities, along with medical experts, confirmed that her recovery defied all scientific explanations. The presence of the mysterious wounds on her neck further fueled belief in the supernatural nature of her healing. As a result of this miracle, monthly prayer gatherings on the 22nd of each month began at Saint Charbel's hermitage in Anaya. To this day, thousands of the faithful travel to the site, participating in Mass and praying for healing, guidance, and blessings. Many claim to have experienced divine interventions of their own, reinforcing the belief that Saint Charbel continues to work miracles even after his passing. The case of Nohad el-Shami remains one of the most compelling modern miracles associated with Saint Charbel, strengthening his legacy as a powerful intercessor for those in need. Her story continues to inspire countless individuals to turn to Saint Charbel in faith, trusting in his heavenly aid for physical, spiritual, and emotional healing. In 1994, Raymond Nader, a Lebanese Maronite Catholic and a devoted man of faith, had an extraordinary and mystical encounter while deep in prayer at Saint Charbel's hermitage in Anaya, Lebanon. This experience would change his life forever and become one of the most well-documented spiritual phenomena associated with the revered saint. During his prayer, Raymond described feeling an overwhelming divine presence, as if he were being enveloped in a celestial light that expanded beyond his surroundings, reaching across the entire universe. He felt as though he was in direct communion with the divine, experiencing an indescribable sense of peace, enlightenment, and spiritual transcendence. This intense moment of grace left him deeply moved, and he remained immersed in contemplation. As he continued to pray near a statue of Saint Charbel, something extraordinary happened. He suddenly felt an intense burning sensation on his arm. Though startled, he remained calm, sensing that this phenomenon was not ordinary, but a supernatural sign. When he looked down, he discovered that a visible imprint of a hand had appeared on his arm, as if someone had physically touched him with fire, leaving an indelible mark on his skin. Concerned yet intrigued by the mysterious event, Raymond sought medical evaluation to understand the nature of the imprint. Several doctors and medical professionals examined the mark, but none could provide a scientific explanation for its sudden appearance or permanence. It was neither a burn nor a wound caused by external sources, yet it remained visible and unchanged. The inexplicable nature of the imprint led many to believe that it was a sign from Saint Charbel himself, a divine confirmation of Raymond's mystical encounter. Inspired by this profound experience, Raymond felt a calling to deepen his devotion to Saint Charbel and share the saint's spiritual message with the world. Determined to spread the essence of Saint Charbel's humility, prayer, and deep faith, he founded the Family of Saint Charbel, a religious movement and prayer group dedicated to living out the spirituality exemplified by the saint. The organization quickly grew, attracting followers who sought to strengthen their faith, deepen their prayer life, and embrace the path of holiness that Saint Charbel had walked. Today, the Family of Saint Charbel continues to inspire countless individuals across Lebanon and beyond. Through prayer gatherings, retreats, and acts of charity, the movement encourages people to seek a closer relationship with God, practice humility, and trust in divine providence. Many members report experiencing spiritual transformations, inner peace, and even miraculous interventions through their devotion to Saint Charbel. Raymond Nader's mystical experience remains one of the most compelling modern-day encounters linked to Saint Charbel's intercession. His story continues to serve as a powerful reminder that faith opens the door to divine mysteries, and those who seek God with sincerity and devotion may experience His presence in unimaginable ways. Through the Family of Saint Charbel, Raymond's mission carries on, ensuring that the legacy of this extraordinary Lebanese saint continues to touch hearts and change lives worldwide. These extraordinary accounts, along with countless others throughout the years, have firmly established Saint Charbel as one of the most powerful intercessors in the Catholic Church. His reputation as a miraculous healer and divine mediator continues to inspire unwavering faith and devotion among believers across the globe. From Lebanon to the farthest corners of the world, people of all backgrounds and walks of life turn to him in times of illness, suffering, and hardship, seeking his intercession for healing, protection, and divine guidance. Saint Charbel's legacy is not only rooted in the miracles that took place during his lifetime, but also in the extraordinary healings and supernatural interventions that have continued long after his passing. The Church's recognition of multiple verified miracles has solidified his sanctity and heavenly intercession, leading to an ever-growing number of testimonies from those who have experienced his aid firsthand. His tomb in Anaya, Lebanon, has become a renowned pilgrimage site, attracting thousands of faithful each year who come to pray, give thanks, and seek miracles. Pilgrims from around the world report physical healings, spiritual renewals, and answered prayers after invoking his name. Many leave behind crutches, medical records, and personal testimonies as signs of gratitude for the blessings they have received. The monthly gatherings on the 22nd of each month at his hermitage serve as a testament to the ongoing devotion to Saint Charbel, where masses, prayers, and testimonies of healing continue to reaffirm his powerful presence in the lives of the faithful. Beyond physical miracles, many who pray through his intercession experience deep inner peace, renewed faith, and spiritual transformation. His life of humility, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to prayer serves as an example of how faith can bring one closer to God. His intercessory power transcends boundaries, touching Christians and even non-Christians alike, as people from various faith traditions recognize the miraculous nature of his works. Today, Saint Charbel's name is spoken in reverence across churches, homes, and religious communities worldwide. His image, often depicted in prayer cards, statues, and icons, serves as a symbol of hope, faith, and divine mercy. As more and more people turn to him in times of need and distress, his presence in the lives of the faithful continues to grow stronger, ensuring that his legacy as a healer and intercessor will endure for generations to come. To date, Saint Charbel is credited with over 33,000 documented miracles. These include cases of people recovering from terminal illnesses, regaining sight, and other healings that defy medical explanation. His powerful intercession continues to inspire countless individuals around the world, offering hope and faith to those in need. As a symbol of divine grace and healing, Saint Charbel's legacy endures, touching lives with the miraculous in ways that transcend human understanding. Let us now pray for the intercession of Saint Charbel. Saint Charbel, countless miracles have been granted through your intercession, bringing healing and hope to those in need. We ask you to pray for us and for those who are suffering, that they may experience the healing power of God's love. Strengthen our faith in times of trial, and help us to trust in the Lord's mercy. Amen. Chapter 6. Veneration and Feast Day. Saint Charbel's legacy of deep piety, humility, and miraculous intercession has led to widespread veneration among Catholics worldwide, particularly within the Maronite community, where he is regarded as one of the most revered saints in Lebanon's history. His unwavering devotion to prayer, his life of solitude, and his extraordinary miracles have made him a beacon of faith for those seeking both spiritual and physical healing. A defining moment in the recognition of Saint Charbel's sanctity came on December 5, 1965, when Pope Paul VI officially beatified him during the closing of the Second Vatican Council. This was a historic event, as Saint Charbel became the first Maronite saint to be beatified in modern times. In his address, Pope Paul VI honored the Lebanese hermit, proclaiming, "A hermit of Mount Lebanon is enrolled in the number of the blessed. A new eminent member of monastic sanctity has, by his example and his intercession, enriched the entire Christian people." These words encapsulated the profound impact of Saint Charbel's life, not only on Lebanon and the Maronite Church, but on the universal church as a whole. The Pope's statement acknowledged that Saint Charbel's holiness was not limited to one region or tradition, but was a gift to all of Christianity, demonstrating how his life of poverty, penance, and asceticism could inspire believers across cultures and continents. Saint Charbel's beatification marked the beginning of a new era of devotion to him, with thousands of faithful around the world turning to him in prayer and seeking his intercession. His tomb in Anaya, Lebanon, became a major pilgrimage site, attracting visitors from various countries who came in search of miracles, healing, and spiritual renewal. Over time, reports of supernatural occurrences and medically unexplained healings continued to multiply, further affirming his role as a heavenly intercessor. Bishop Francis Zayak, the first bishop of the Maronite Eparchy of St. Maron in the United States, eloquently referred to Saint Charbel as the perfume of Lebanon, and the honor of our Aramaic Antiochian church. These titles reflected the deep spiritual fragrance that Saint Charbel left behind through his life of purity, holiness, and unwavering devotion to God. His sanctity was not only a source of pride for Lebanon and the Maronite Church, but also a guiding light for Christians across the globe. His canonization was a testament to the enduring power of faith, demonstrating that a life of simplicity, prayer, and self-sacrifice could bring one closer to God and serve as an inspiration for all believers. Saint Charbel's influence quickly spread beyond the Maronite tradition, and today he is venerated by Catholics of all sui juris churches in communion with Rome, including the Latin, Byzantine, Coptic, Armenian, Syro-Malabar, and Syro-Malankara Catholic churches. His legacy bridges East and West, uniting Christians in their devotion to a humble hermit who exemplified complete surrender to God's will. On October 28, 2017, a significant milestone in the global veneration of Saint Charbel was achieved with the inauguration of a shrine dedicated to him at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. This historic event marked the growing international recognition of the Lebanese Maronite saint, whose miraculous intercessions and deep spirituality continue to inspire the faithful worldwide. One of the most precious features of the shrine is the presence of a relic of Saint Charbel, allowing visitors to venerate a tangible piece of his holy legacy. The relic serves as a powerful spiritual connection to the saint, offering comfort and inspiration to those who visit. Many pilgrims who come to St. Patrick's Cathedral, one of the most iconic Catholic churches in the United States, take time to pray at Saint Charbel's shrine, entrusting him with their petitions for healing, guidance, and divine intervention. Saint Charbel's feast day is a highly anticipated event for the faithful, observed on July the 24th in the Roman Catholic Church and on the third Sunday of July in the Maronite Church. These celebrations serve as a testament to his enduring spiritual influence, drawing thousands of believers who seek his intercession, blessings, and miraculous healings. His feast day is not just a day of remembrance, but a time of prayer, thanksgiving, and devotion, where the faithful come together to honor his legacy of holiness. Each year, thousands of pilgrims from Lebanon and across the world make the journey to Saint Charbel's hermitage in Anaya, the place where he lived in solitude and deep communion with God. The pilgrimage site, which houses his tomb and relics, has become one of the most significant spiritual destinations in the Christian world. Many who visit believe in the saint's powerful intercession, seeking healing for physical ailments, personal struggles, and spiritual renewal. Pilgrims leave behind written prayers, candles, and tokens of gratitude, offering thanks for blessings received through Saint Charbel's prayers. Today, as churches worldwide dedicate masses, novenas, and prayer gatherings in his honor, Saint Charbel's role as a spiritual guide and intercessor is stronger than ever. His unwavering faith, miraculous healings, and deep connection with the divine ensure that his memory and legacy will endure for generations to come, bringing hope and faith to all who seek his help. As we reflect on the life and legacy of Saint Charbel, let us draw inspiration from his unwavering faith, deep devotion, and powerful intercession. Through his example, we are reminded that a life dedicated to prayer, humility, and sacrifice can lead us closer to God. Let us now come together in prayer, asking for his intercession, that we may be strengthened in our faith and guided on our own journey of holiness. Let us pray. O glorious Saint Charbel, through your unwavering faith and devotion, you have become a shining example of holiness, a beacon of light for all who seek God's grace. Intercede for us, O humble servant of God, that we may grow in faith, hope, and love, and be filled with the same spiritual fervor that guided you in your life of prayer and sacrifice. Grant us the strength to persevere in times of trial, and may we always trust in God's mercy and providence. Through your powerful intercession, may we experience the healing grace of God and find peace in our hearts and souls. Amen.